and welcome to VoiceWhat presents the great business story transforming India in association with NDTV Profit. It is often said for India to realize its true economic prowess, the informal sector needs to grow by leaps and bounds. It's a sector that needs to be powered by catalysts like financing, which it often finds difficult to access. This is where Navadhan comes in. Linking small informal businesses to formal lending institutions. Joining me now, the founder and CEO of Navadhan, Nitin Agarwal. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell me what was the inspiration behind Navadhan? What drove you to set it up? How do you plan to see the changes you've implemented in the rural credit ecosystem?
So, me and my co-founders, we all come from financial services space. We have been in the space for more than 20-25 years, each of us. And we've been seeing how Indian banking and financial services in particular had been shaping up. Of course, the lowest end of the pyramid, the population pyramid, we'd seen a lot of development which happened. At the upper end of the pyramid, again, there is a lot of financial services, a lot of innovation happening. Digitization is bringing in another set of incremental service providers, but it's the middle segment, people who are neither poor nor rich, and more specifically people in rural areas who are rather still not getting enough services. We call them as underbanked. So Navadhan was conceptualized to think of offering financial services to underbanked people. And in this journey, as we were ideating, we realized that the only way to build a scalable financial proposition is to do it tech first. And hence we thought of leveraging India Stack and also the growing, digital penetration of smartphones, UPI, and all the rails around the digital public infrastructure. We decided to leverage it and build AceN as an integral part of Navadhan, and that's what we've been doing.
What is this technology that you're bringing to the table? How has it been, brought up, constructed? How has it been built for this kind of an intervention?
These small businesses, they may not be using banking sector to the fullest. Most of their sales are not visible in their bank statements. So there is an ability to look at that economy with economic surrogates. What technology allows us is to templatize those surrogates, make them more reliable, and then build a business around it. So just understanding how the cash flows move, what are the dimensions of the proprietor of that business, the dimension of his household cash flows, dependency on various seasonal parameters, local dynamics in terms of economics, how the local economy moves, the hyperlocal part of that. All of that we've managed to discount in terms of models, and then we are building a moat in understanding rural small businesses. And that's where once the moat is built, technology allows us to link it on one side to the banks and on the other side to build the whole customer journey.
Can you explain how it tailors financial services for rural businesses?
Well, in a lot many ways, right? One size doesn't fit all. What works in a certain context will not work in another context. Technology has to be leveraged in terms of the context that we are in. One dimension, risk management and building processes around it. The other dimension is only on the data side. The data sciences today can do wonders, but it means you need to make it work. So how do you capture data? How do you leverage data becomes extremely critical. What we have built is what works for this informal markets and what can be leveraged from there to build for scale. And we couldn't have done that without technology. So it's not that what technology has done for us, it's what we have been able to do because there was technology available at our hand.
Now, how does this data-driven approach improve access to financing for rural businesses, for rural households? Because you said you look at this particular segment in terms of assisting them with financial access.
For us, a customer eventually converts into a set of data, which is sent through APIs to some of these lenders. And leveraging that data, we are able to do co-lending, we are able to do direct assignments, we are able to do business correspondent models, essentially bring the capital from the capital providers to my rural small businesses and make it work for them, right? So that's one dimension of it. The other is making sure that with these AI ML models, you're able to discount the data better. Essentially what we are doing here, we are preventing a rural small business from getting impacted by the troubles of the risks from agri cash flows, such that this rural small business is continuing to flourish, grow, and our selfish reasons is they should be able to service our loans, and therefore our accountability towards the lender partners, the banks, the NBFCs that we work for continues to stay established. So AI/ML models are essentially to learn from the data, to essentially be able to do predictive analytics and use it for business use cases.
How does Navadhan's approach differ from the other financial technology companies that are operating in rural India and servicing the same market?
A typical fintech will think of what is available, what can be delivered today. What Navadhan is building for is a very large market, which is largely underbanked. It's a growing space. The informal economy, the aspiring class itself is expanding. This is where the Navadhan's focus was different from them. We are looking at a market which is going to expand, and we will let them digitally explode and at the same time have solutions both for the digitally included and the excluded strata as well.
How do you build and maintain trust and transparency with communities that have limited digital exposure?
What we have on ground is both tech and people. So the combination of tech and people is what builds the trust and the transparency. So we have what we call as customer service officers who are available to customers to reach out to and talk to them, and they're not talking to a bot. They're not talking to just an app. They're talking to a human being. While a lot of the transactions are automated, the customer discovery is physical, the customer journey is digital, but there is a human being that brings trust. These allows these items of having physical presence and backing technology with people. But more important than all of this is the culture. We have a team which is empathetic to this community. Our strong belief is if my customer is flourishing, my loan will get repaid and I will flourish. If my customer is not flourishing, I will not flourish. So it's in my interest to live on that faith, live on that trust, build on that trust, and make my own business bigger.
Navadhan recently raised, I think, around rupees 111 crore in what we call Series A funding. How do you plan to deploy that capital that you've raised?
This 111 crores will enable us to deepen our presence in the geographies where we are, to expand on the proposition on the tech side. So we are now beginning to do a lot of experiments on the AI side. And for that, obviously, we had to back it with capital for the team to do those experiments. It is genuinely transformative. So while there is a lot of buzz around it, I think the buzz is genuine. There is so much changes that we see which one could bring. But at the same time, more staying on the business side, we are present in 5 states. We are going deeper in those 5 states with more geographies, more localities, more locations, more customer sub-segments, and more loan variants. So it's to deepen in the same space. While the aspiration is to go pan-India, but for now we'll go and deepen into these states. And maybe, in the next few rounds will be used to further expand on it.
What's the strategy behind your regional diversification, and how do you adapt to hyper-local needs?
We want to be pan-India. We started from a region of Madhya Pradesh. We expanded to all the 4 regions of Madhya Pradesh. We are building for semi-urban and rural. So we are able to discount the data pertaining to those localities, build our credit models tailored to the local economics and the local livelihoods, and hence keep leveraging on it and keep building on it deeper. That's where probably the capital would come in play as well, and our ability to understand the local economy. If you come, within the company, we speak at least 11 of the 13 national languages inside the company.
Wow.
So we are building it for that scale and that proposition.
How do you plan to take Navadhan beyond just financing and become a comprehensive economic financial ecosystem for rural India, for the people you're servicing?
Well, for us, rural India is a very big word, but within the rural India, our focus is rural small businesses and the aspiring middle class. At least for that segment, Navadhan will try to be a little more holistic service provider. Right? So we call ourselves as Navadhan, which means new wealth. For us, as wealth is not just increasing incomes. It is also building resilience. It is also improving your ability to kind of have a better life for your next generation. But the approach that we are looking at it is to look at a household or a proprietor of the rural small business and his family in a holistic manner, to say how we, with our limited capabilities, be good to them, to give them services and products so that they can create Navadhan, or they can create new wealth in their houses. And wealth will have to go beyond just income.
What are we looking at? Who are the consumers that we're looking at? And give us a little description of whom we're going to see as Navadhan touches their lives and creates new wealth, new happiness for them.
What Navadhan is looking at is these rural small businesses, and not just the business proprietor and the people in his family, various sources of income of that proprietor's family, their ability, what do they spend on, what are they going to spend on, what are the risks that this household goes through, these various income segments, how they can be expanded for this person. So Navadhan's touching their lives should be where the incipient labor in those households, the upcoming generation, and the underemployment in those households gets arrested and converted into productive, addition to the GDP of the nation.
नवधन के लोग मेरे पास में आए इधर, मुझे लोन मिला, मैंने लोन से अपने पशु लेके आया, पशु तो मैंने बढ़ाया, अपना बिजनेस अच्छा चल रही है, 25-40% का मतलब वो प्रॉफिट हुआ है इसमें। नवधन का सपोर्ट अच्छा है सर, आगे आने वाला और अच्छा होएगा।
मैं नवधन से 13 महीने से जुड़ा हूँ और मुझे नवधन का अच्छा कार्य लगा है, मतलब बैंक जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती, ना किसी कागज़ की ज़्यादा ज़रूरत पड़ती है, मुझे लोन और आगे भी नवधन से और आगे जुड़ा रहना चाहता हूँ। किस्त की प्रोसेस भी अच्छी है, तारीख बाई तारीख बैंक से कट जाती है, कोई टेंशन नहीं होती।
नवधन से बहुत टाइम से जुड़ा हूँ, काफ़ी अच्छा है नवधन का वो सिस्टम है, पूरा सिस्टम फ़ोन पे भी हो जाता है, कोई डॉक्यूमेंट्स की ज़्यादा जरूरत नहीं पड़ती मेरे को, बहुत अच्छी बैंक है नवधन। छोटा मोटा काम करता है, नवधन से जुड़ने में पैसा आया तो अपने दुकानदारी बढ़ा दी है और ज़्यादा इनकम होने लगी है, इतना सोचा नहीं था, उससे ज़्यादा हुआ है बस।
Thank you so much, Nitin Agarwal, speaking to us. I think the canvas is huge. Wishing you a lot of success with every brush stroke. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.